Tu bocina.
Aquí estamos, señores, sábado a las 11 de la mañana. Welcome to the show from the neighborhood. Bienvenidos, señores. Aquí estamos con este programa donde traemos todas las personas locales, the local notables, the people who are telling you the story. And what are we doing? We're out on a mission to debunk the headlines about what is happening in the community, what's the community known for, the superstars that are in this community, making changes, and people you really wish could be your neighbor. So, folks, if you have thought about an area and you said, I've heard about this neighborhood, but what happens there? I don't know. I don't want to go out there at night. Well, guess what? Maybe you're missing the best part of it at night because maybe it's the barbecues that they're having. Maybe it's the conversations on the stoop. Maybe it's the neighbor who lives on the first floor, third floor, I don't know, apartment 2B. This is the kind of stuff you might be missing out on. And those other neighborhoods that you figure, oh, they're too good. I can't go there. I don't feel welcome there. Well, it's because you don't know anybody. So when we're on social media, we're on all these platforms connecting with people all over the world. Let's not forget about our neighbor. Let's discover the power of community. With this show here from the neighborhood, that's what we're doing. And folks, I want you to connect with me as well. And yes, we do have to connect on social media until you're either here on the show or we see each other in person. Very easy to find. From the neighborhood. Esas tres palabras, from the neighborhood, whether it's my website, Instagram, or anything else. Connect with me. And you know what? If you want to tell your story, si ustedes tienen una historia de contar, cuéntala, dígame. Déjale saber a la gente que usted tiene una cosa pasando en tu vecindario que te interesa a ti, que le interesa a muchas otras personas, que va a amplificar tu vecindario. So, guys, reach out. It's from the neighborhood, whether it's on the website or Instagram. Let me know if you want to be on the show or you can nominate a friend. And if you have a business and you want to get it heard, well, the team here at Latino Mix, myself included, we've got stuff that we can work out for you and get you connected with the people in your neighborhood so your business can be heard. Así que ustedes saben, si tienen negocio, conecta con su comunidad a través de mi programa y aquí el equipo de Latino Mix. We also got amazing stuff you can be doing to represent your neighborhood. You see right here, it says Brooklyn. I'm wearing my sweatshirt. Go to the website fromtheneighborhood.com and you guys can pick up the merch. Cool stuff. Now, guys, this show right here, este programa va a ser super chévere. I got somebody here who, well, if you've heard this before, and I'm just going to go ahead and play this for you guys.
Lo Maximo Productions in the building.
Yes, that's right. Lo Maximo Productions is in the building. And I got somebody who is from Lo Maximo Productions, LMP. They're here with us today. And we're going to talk about their story as a professional, their story and who they become at night, the connections that they've made, the places that they've been to, how they're helping their community grow, the genres. Señores, Lo Maximo Productions is in the building. And with that, folks, I want to go ahead and thank our sponsor real quick because that's how we're putting this show together. So let me get that drop real quick. That's right. I want to thank our sponsor, Johnny Quinn from Mortgage Depot. Johnny Quinn is the loans officer who's with Mortgage Depot. He's sponsoring our program. Definitely reach out to him if you have any questions regarding mortgages, refinancing, whatever it may be. Give him a call at 718-496-5216. Si ustedes tienen preguntas sobre refinanciar, hipotecas, una casa que quiera comprar, llama a Johnny Quinn, Mortgage Depot, 718-496-5216, 718-496-5216, and his NMLS number is 133907. And folks, that was a lot to say in very short time. I know that we've got a lot to cover in this program, so you know I've got to get your energy pumped up and I got to get you going. And this guy from LMP, Lo Maximo Productions, is from Uptown. So we got Uptown vibes happening all day. So with that, folks, I'm going to have to go with Uptown vibes. And already you know that I'm going to check out with my man, Meek Mills, Fabulous, and Anuel. Let's go.
De regreso con Anthony from the neighborhood.
Uptown vibes, and you already got it going. You're feeling it, man. We're up here. We're talking Washington Heights. We're talking the Bronx. We're going all the way up to Westchester. My man has been in all of these areas. I'd like to welcome him to the studio. I'm going to welcome him by the name you know him during the day. Así que, señores, denle la bienvenida a mi persona que está aquí. Nos va a hablar de todo lo que está haciendo, pero esta es su identidad del día, o sea, lo que le dio su madre y su padre. So, dale la bienvenida. Give the big warm welcome to Juan Carlos Vargas.
Yeah.
Yes. We got a big round of applause for you.
Thank you, guys.
man. Welcome to the show.
Nah, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Now, I said we're representing Uptown. Tell me, where in Uptown are we?
Oh, I'm from Dyckman, man. Born and raised in Dyckman.
Ooh, Dyckman.
Nice. Yes.
There you go, guys. There you go. We're Uptown, man. Uptown. We are like the Jeffersons right now.
Yo,
moving on up.
Yeah,
now,
man. So it's Dyckman between Broadway and Academy, because Dyckman is about 7 blocks long, and there's different.
It's its own zip code.
It's its own. Yep. Yes, it is.
Matter of fact, Dyckman, they got their own beer.
Yeah.
Talk
I know
about that.
Juan. Shout out to Juan Tocayo, the owner of Dyckman Beer.
Ahí está, ya tú sabes. Yeah, that's right. That's another Juan. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Are you guys related?
No, not related at all. Actually, we had the pleasure to meet up, and he was one of my sponsors as well.
Yeah.
I've been supporting his beer for a couple of years now.
Nice. So we're going to get into that kind of reasons why they were your sponsor. This is the alter ego of my man here. Juan Carlos Vargas is a different man during the day, kind of like a Clark Kent Superman.
Yeah.
Well, we're not going to reveal your superhero name just yet. What we're going to talk about is a little bit where you started and what you do for a living on a 9 to 5. Basically, I want to get people to get, interested. O sea, conozca a esta persona por quién eres, por un ser humano y entiende lo que él hace. Y tal vez te inspira a ti a coger esa carrera. You never know, right? This is something people may want to do. Let's just say you're in banking.
Yes.
Okay, but that's not like where things started. You were going to college. What school did you go to?
I went BMCC.
BMCC, and you were studying, what was it?
Business management.
And somehow you get into banking through a friend who connects you. Take me back in the day, because I feel like we're going back to like early 2000s or something.
Early 2000s, yeah. Actually, 2002, 2003. Going from there, was in BMCC, Baltimore Community College. I was president of the Dominican Students Association at the time.
Well, big shout out to the Dominicans. There we go. Dominicans in the building.
So it's always good to represent where you come from, who we are, what we do, and what makes us, right? So I took the leadership. I won through voting, legal voting, and took over being president there. And then we're playing dominoes. One of the things I used to do to get everybody together was a dominoes tournament.
I wonder how that gets every Dominican together. A domino tournament.
Domino tournament. So,
not that hard, right?
Actually, yes. It could be very hard and very challenging. So we met. We started talking, and he was like, "Yo, you're good with people." My cousin is a cluster manager at Wama Washington Mutual. May they rest in peace.
Washington Mutual was a bank that used to be around, folks.
Yes. It was. Chase took them over and bought them over.
There you go.
And gave me the opportunity to go ahead and interview with her. He didn't warn me, be careful, she's tough. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm just going to go with it. Went to the interview. 30 days later, I was I was in the banking world.
Wow. 30 days later, you're in the banking world. But what drove your passion to it? Because I always tell people, there's a million things you can do in this world. You chose to get into banking. Obviously, there's a whole nother chapter to your life as well that you're, running in tandem.
Yeah.
But banking, what does it do for you? How does it fulfill you in your career?
Well, nowadays is I just know banking. I represent and I try to represent organizations that actually help out the community and help out people to understand how to actually become financially stable. And I'm not talking about investments. I'm just talking about day-to-day banking. How to be safe, how to do certain things, how to protect yourself, and how to actually educate yourself and your kids on how to save money.
Well, let me ask you a question here. Do you think that in the Latino household, the conversation of money is sort of taboo? O sea, que esa conversación de dinero no se está hablando suficiente en el hogar latino. Is it really that?
It's a mix of that, yes, and that's one point of it. Se habla de dinero, it's just in the wrong things. Oh, yo quiero este iPhone, ¿cuánto cuesta? Son tanto, no hay, okay, vamos.
Okay, so it's like cash and carry. Yeah. We're not talking about leveraging or even understanding the banking system.
Right, understanding. So for example, I'll give you guys an example. This is something when I give financial literacy, I start off with the junior high schools. I start off with the high schools, talking to them on how to actually save. So they get allowance or they get money, they get stuff. The first thing they do is, oh, I want to buy this. I want to go get this. There's a difference in between a want and a need. And it starts from there. What do you need and what do you want? And that's where the money comes into it. You might have the money for something that you need, but do you really want to invest that money that you have saved up there for something that you want, knowing that you might need something in the near future?
Yeah.
So it's a balance.
Now, a successful business person like yourself, someone who's, running several things at the same time, obviously you're running into conversations of budgets when you're doing your productions and so
Right.
forth,
Right.
Lo Maximo Productions has been around for over 15 years now.
Yes.
And you got to deal with money. It is a business.
It's part of the business.
What are some of the things that you would say when you talk about these wants and these needs? What's something that you could put like dead on, like, hey, you know what? This is the wall in between or the line you don't cross that can serve as a discipline for like all these youngsters that are listening right now that are saying, hey, I love that music. I love that life, but I'm spending too much. Where do you put the line so they know where not to cross?
So, well, it's more of an understanding, right? So you can't live something you can't afford. Right? Because if you're trying to live a life that you can't afford, where are you getting the money from? So that's where they get into trouble. They're in the streets, get into trouble, robbing, not having the right education, and just because they want to live that life. But you need to understand, for who are you living that life? Is it for you, or just to show off to the community or to whoever's around you? You have to understand that, because everybody who's around you and is living that same life is probably going through the same thing that you're going through, trying to please you and trying to show you, or trying to show off. So why even do it?
Everybody's a bunch of window displays when you live a life like that, right? You don't have the discipline as to what you should be spending your money on,
Right.
where to draw the line.
Right.
And essentially all you're doing is putting up a show, but they change these window displays every 3 months. Can you keep up?
Exactly. Now, I know a lot of people who can, but they can't. But
Right.
they work really hard to be able to provide that and live that lifestyle. So I know friends who, and business owners who, they work Monday through Sunday, and then 1 or 2 other days and thing they live that lifestyle.
Right.
But they're working hard to be able to sustain it.
Yo lo digo a cada rato. I say it all the time. Don't let Instagram, TikTok, or any of these social media platforms fool you. What's out there is a representation of the life that many of us want to live, but it's not the day-to-day. You got people working Monday to Sunday to try to keep up that lifestyle.
Now, when they try to relax and they're relaxing, you don't bother them. They're gone for 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, but they deserve it.
Yeah.
That's what they've been working for.
Yeah. No, man, wise words. And you don't stop there. So, in highlighting, you got into banking, you started understanding the disciplines. You're speaking it forward. I see here Washington Heights, Inwood organizations, Chamber of Commerce.
Chamber of Commerce, yes.
Women Chamber of Commerce.
Correct.
These are organizations you're involved in.
Yes.
Uptown, folks. Señora, en la ciudad de Nueva York, alguna vez todo se pierde because you feel like there's nothing happening in your city because of all the noise. But there are Chamber of Commerces, there are these clubs. You get involved with them. What's your role?
So my role is to, again, educate them. So there are so many, so knowledge is power, right? It's just a fact. If you don't know who's giving one or you can't benefit from it, well, let me repeat that. If you don't know what's out there, you don't know what you're able to attain,
right?
You can't benefit from it, right? So that's the challenge it is, because a lot of our mom and pop shops right now, los salones, la bodega, the club owners, the restaurants, there's a lot of information and there's a lot of grants out there that they don't know that exist, and or they're not structured enough to be able to take benefit from there.
Hazme a favor, para que la gente que sean hispano que no hablan inglés, tienen su salón, tienen su barbería, tienen su supermercado, su bodega, lo que sea, cualquier negocio que tenga.
Sí.
Hay dinero disponible para estas personas si se educan y se exponen a estos programas.
Sí. Hay muchos programas que, vuelvo y digo, hay muchos programas que ellos pueden tener el beneficio y tener estos grants que se llaman. Hay muchas organizaciones sin fines de lucro que están ayudando a muchos de los negocios pequeños, si es con un grant o si no es educándolo, haciendo cómo hacer un business plan.
Claro, yo quiero poner esta conversación. I want to put this conversation forward out to the 5 boroughs. This guy's up here, Washington Heights, Manhattan, represent in the house. Brooklyn, I'm supporting you guys almost every single time. Queens, dear to my heart. Bronx, Staten Island, you guys already know. There's programs out there within our city. We're talking about somebody growing up in the neighborhood of Washington Heights, Dominican area, majority, right?
Majority, yes.
But there's programs available. You got involved with Chamber of Commerce. How do people get involved with these things or discover them, find them, so they can get involved?
So that's a challenge. So the job for a lot of the Chamber of Commerce is you do have to become a member. Now, where it gets the small business owner, like, I don't know, there's a yearly membership fee.
Yeah.
But
you made that noise. It's like, hit the brakes.
Yeah.
This is where the investment. Porque tú sabes que la gente they'll buy something that they don't need versus investing in themselves. And I think you touched on that the first time.
Yes,
Invest in yourself first. So señores, si hay que pagar and you got to pay for the Chamber of Commerce, but it's going to connect you to a different level of your business.
Yeah.
Get on it.
Yeah, get on it. And it's not expensive. I'm not talking about $1,000 or $500. It's probably less than $100 to just become a member, right?
Wow.
That's an investment. So there are a lot of grants out there. The Chamber of Commerce do help out. Again, doing a business plan, networking. Ahí yo lo voy a decir todo. Networking. Building relationship is key to anybody's business, right? So, la más relaciones que uno tiene, the more possibility you have to be able to grow your business. You know what I'm saying?
Dígame una cosa and tell me one thing. You said networking, so I'm already grabbing notes from here.
Yeah.
¿Eso te ha ayudado a ti en el negocio?
Uf.
En la vida del día, cuando tú estás de Clark Kent y de noche.
Y de noche. Las relaciones que me ha ayudado a mantenerme a quien soy, and who's actually let me to stay true to myself as well.
Wow.
Besides my family, you know? I think that and I want to say this, I represent all boroughs. Yo voy a Queens, Long Island. I just travel everywhere and just try to help out as much as I can.
Well, we're leading into the guy you are, the other ego, the one you show up at night, the one that people haven't heard of yet if they don't know you this closely. But this is how LMP is all involved. And at the end of the day, folks, I got to ask you, if you haven't been to an LMP party, you haven't partied. And the real question is, well, let's take it back to the Royal House. Can you party? Let's go.
De regreso con Anthony from the neighborhood.
Yes. Y aquí regresamos. That was Royal House. Can you party? And that's going to lead into what my man does at a different time of the day. We go back to 1988. You believe that one? Well, listen, before we go forward, let's go back since we went back to 1988.
Yeah.
Let's go back to that previous conversation. Señores, hemos hablado de que él entró a una carrera, la cosa que llegó a reconocer en su barrio, su casa. We're talking about money.
Yeah.
Having it not be taboo, having it to be responsible. We talked about Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah.
A lot of people complain, and I'll get people they'll message me right away. They'll say, "Hey, listen, man, you're saying this, but how do I get in?"
Yeah.
Help us out with that.
And how do you help us, right? How do you really help us? You just tell us one thing, okay, I could do that anytime, but the question is, can you really? But
take from theory to application, right?
Right. So it takes initiative and it takes consistency, right? But I do want to mention on something because everybody was like, how did you do this and why did you support? So I had this is something that our bank did was Ponce Bank. When the PPP programs came out, when the whole COVID hit, a lot of the banks were not helping out the small mom and pops, and or they didn't qualify for it. So la bodega, los dueños no cualificaban, y la razón por qué era they didn't have W-2s. Right? So for you to be able to get the employee tax credit, you had to have an employee on paper.
Yeah, teniendo el conocimiento.
El conocimiento de tener cómo hacer sus taxes, del negocio. Entonces nosotros nos sentábamos con todo y máscara y todo y le explicábamos a los clientes cómo hacer esto y ayudarlo a hacerlo. Nosotros teníamos computadoras seteadas, laptops set up en diferentes partes del banco y nosotros mismos lo ayudábamos al cliente.
Sí.
Cómo aplicar, cómo llenar esto, lo cogían y nosotros lo enviábamos. Tú ibas a cualquier otro banco, ellos no, tú lo tienes que hacer y tú tienes que volver al otro y tienes que hacer otro appointment.
Imagínate una persona con la barrera del idioma, right? You have a barrier of language. You're just figuring out how to do business. You're not really understanding a payroll, and now you got to start reporting on your business to try to get assistance during this time.
I'm
assuming that lit up a passion in you, to I guess put on a different kind of costume, right?
Well, it's part of everything of what I do and what's embedded to me growing up as a young kid from Dyckman.
I get that feeling of you is like no man left behind.
Yeah.
Well, talking about that, let's go ahead and put on your other outfit here. And I got to give a big round of applause for the same person with a different alter ego. And this is SmurfLMP.
Yes.
So, señores, si ustedes saben los Maximo Productions, this is Smurf right here.
This is Smurf.
and everybody would be like, oh, I know the guy now.
Yeah.
Pero, señores, de día con corbata, él is very professional, suit and tie, banking man. At night, He's the Smurf.
Yep, I'm the Smurf. I'm
So,
LMP.
Drop the LMP sound one more time for me, please. Let's hear it in the building.
Lo
right now.
Maximo Productions done the building.
Or bring it back.
Hey, listen, man. So let's talk about this here because, you know, Lo Maximo Productions is something that I remember being around, having some of the best mixes,
Right.
DJs and all sorts of stuff. What brought you into creating something like this?
Well, I didn't create it. I came into it. And to give the backstory is, it's a funny story real quick. I was the first DJ association was actually not LMP. It was Los Reyes del Mambo. So shout out to my man, Olivo Music and Electro. Electro brought me in because I was in college.
Yeah.
And I was throwing me, my compadres, and my brother were throwing the hottest parties in Dyckman. So we used to throw the best college parties in Dyckman, and we used to wear 2 hats, right? So I actually was a DJ.
You said you used to wear 2 hats. I think you're wearing 2 hats right now. Come on.
So the DJ, then we used to rent out the spot, which is a Seaman Cassandra, which is a taxi base of stuff. They had just renovated. It was brand new.
Yeah.
And we started throwing parties there with our own equipment, our own liquor, and just throwing it out for and doing college parties. So that's how we started. And I was brought into La Rey El Mama by Electro, where I met the president, Olivo Music, the vice president, which is Miguelito Aguila, which now represents, he does the bookings for Secreto and a couple other demo artists.
Look at that. Wow. So
Yeah.
everybody spawned off into different directions. And you guys all started throwing parties for what was it? Tell me some of the college. City College? I'm
No,
assuming?
it was United. So
Really?
as before, I was president of the Dominican Student Association.
Yeah.
At that time, we had committed ourselves to supporting each other's events and parties. So cada dominicano hay una fiesta, siempre hay una fiesta, right? Y nosotros, we used to do reuniones once a month.
Right.
All together, the leaders of each Dominican Student Association. So John Jay, Hunter, Baruch, BMCC, Bronx Community
City College, Fordham University was right there too.
Yeah, actually,
Columbia?
Columbia didn't really have the Dominican Student Association at the time.
Ah.
Yeah. Maybe they do now. I hope they do now, because there's a lot of Dominicans going over there. But Fordham University, I have great experience over there connecting. So what I used to do is like, all right, listen, I'm throwing this party. I want everybody to come.
I'm thinking of all the schools that are up there. Yeah, Lehman College as well.
Lehman.
Yes.
Oh, man. So we used to get everybody together. And then when Electro saw that, he was like, he was my neighbor across the street. So he's from Dyckman as well. He was like, yo, you need to come and join Los Reyes del Mando. We get all the music, we get all the stuff. I was like, I went to a meeting and they love me. Me decían el empresario joven ese tiempo. Hoy ya no soy joven. Yeah.
No, but listen, ¿y cómo se te pegó el nombre Smurf? Like, how'd you get that?
So my compadre, one of my partners, Jose, Minister, we call him, he always used to tell me, my DJ name was DJ Intocable at the time. They were like, demasiado DJ Intocable. Anybody could touch you. You're small. And you just go and grab you.
No.
Yeah. And
So
he goes like, you know what? You're always wearing white and blue or red. So you look like a Smurf, bro. So your name now is Smurf. And now
y ahora con la barba, te dicen Papa Smurf.
ahora Papa Smurf.
Papa
Sí.
Smurf.
Especially with the grades coming out.
Para que lo respeten, para que lo respeten.
Yeah.
I love this, man. Well, listen, the DJ world is full of wonderful people. I've got a great DJ behind the glass over there who's helping me put this together.
Yeah.
We work in collaboration to do this, and I know the DJs really keep things going for everybody.
Yeah.
And we wish we could kind of like have those people in our lives forever.
Yeah.
Because music has a way of transporting you. Music has a way of connecting you. And I kind of want to give a shout out to a special DJ that was, really like pushing it forward for LMP.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we lost him. He had this little, this drop, which is how they're known, right? They have this drop. So I'm just going to play this drop real quick.
Que rico, rico.
I'm going to let that hang for a moment of silence right there. So, Jinx Paul, man. So this gentleman was part of LMP.
Yeah.
Big DJ on La Mega 97.9. Ya ustedes saben, La Estación. This is something we all grew up with.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he passed away 2016.
He was taken from us, yeah.
Yeah. And it was in Brooklyn. It happened in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Talk to me about this gentleman and, the impact he had for LMP, for his community, and the levels he was reaching.
So, where to start with Jinx? I met Jinx for the first time in El Morocco nightclub, where Ju Crazy was our LMP DJ. He was there and he was like, yo, you gotta meet. This man comes up and he just starts playing and messing around with the CDJ, and it was a little one too. He was, and it's like nothing. I'm like, what the hell is this? So you never heard of Jinx Paul, Latin Quarters, and everything else? I'm like, oh yeah, I know who he is. And we just started talking and vibing, and then we just started like laughing and just having that vibe. He was brought into the team to finally become part of LMP, and he said yes. He was part of the DJ Kings and LMP. But my role at the time was not. I was not the VP. I was just I was the artist relationship manager over there. Mm-hmm. So I used to bring all the artists to LMP Radio, which was one of the first stations where Latino Mix gave us. I still have the collection. We have it in our studio. Every year we used to win. So after a time, they were like, "Oh no, we got to give it to somebody else." I was like, I understand.
Hey,
I had to throw that out there.
You guys were the kings, man. Hey, listen, you guys got the title, but let me ask you this now. You know, a lot of people see this life, and parents specifically see this life and see it as something unsustainable, something dangerous, and unfortunately, we hear of people passing and things like that. You know, and rest in peace to this gentleman. But at the end of the day, you're doing a responsible job for your community, right? You know, in volunteering, Chamber of Commerce, and so forth. Yeah. You got your 9-to-5 banking. Yeah. You're representing, you know, parties, artists, DJs. Yeah. What's a path for somebody that wanted to get into something like this? You know, and unfortunately, you know, this ended in tragedy. We'll go back to that, but what's something that gives people hope that this is a viable way of life?
Well, it's a boundaries, right? It's setting yourself up. Anybody who wants to get into this life, you need to understand it before you come into it. It's not, oh damn, I woke up today and I want to be a DJ. If it is, you woke up with that mindset, it's like anything else. You got to study it. You got to do your homework. Yeah. Right? I think there's one of the challenges we got going on right now, that now everybody thinks that they're a DJ. Yeah. And it's a challenge. It's, you know, it's a work in progress. But if you are going to do it, take it seriously like anything else. Focus on your craft. Understand the music, understand what needs to be done, and respect it. No es a lo loco. Y aunque a lo loco se vive mejor, decía Elvis Clase. And a lot of people, you know, they get it, but people are starting to understand and see that the art is starting to lose la fuerza. Yeah. Right? The talking is amazing, the because you got to hype people up and everything else, but also the quality of the mixes that you play. A lot of people say, oh, they don't care about that no more. As long as you play the same thing or play lo que está pegado, that's it. It's cool.
Yeah, well, the reason I bring it up is because I'm happy that you were recently on a Latino mix event, right? Involving DJs and speaking to DJs about the industry so that they would understand like what there is in terms of their value, their contributions, right? You know, and this gentleman here, now I'm going to take it back to Jinx Paul for a second. This gentleman unfortunately did pass in 2016. You know, and it was in Brooklyn. Yeah. Hit and run situation. He's literally coming out of the club. Right. Having an amazing night. Right. You know, I remember hearing about this and it was on the radio, and I'm just going to break the news on the way it was said at La Mega, so let me just play that real quick.
En su edición digital, el periódico The New York Post da a conocer que en la mañana de hoy se entregó a las autoridades Kevin Osoria, de 28 años de edad, declarando que fue él el que estaba guiando el vehículo que atropelló y provocó la muerte en el 2016 al DJ Jinx Paul de Mega 97.9. Esa es la importante información que saca el Post en el día de hoy.
Now we go back to a time like that, you know, and we have the judicial system, and we understand that this gentleman wasn't sentenced till 2019. Right. Got 5 years probation, 500 hours of rehabilitation, according to a New York Post article back in March of 2019. But then it was an update in April of 2021 from InsiderRadio.com that he violated probation, basically got 90 days in jail, and then shaved off 400 hours and got down to 100 hours of community service. That's a heartbreak. You know, how do you give people the kind of bright light at the end of the tunnel to know that, you know, they are respected, they're loved, and their memories will go on.
So that's very emotional for us, not only for me, but for the full team. There was outrage, there was frustration when it happened, and he gave himself up and stuff. Remember what I said before, knowledge is power, right?
Yeah.
His father's in the system. He knows. El que no quitó a Jinx
we're not going to give him any fame.
Yeah, we're not going to give him any fame. Knows the system and knows how to go ahead and bend the rules. Community service, do this, do that.
Yeah.
Broke his probation, only did 90 days, and then shaved all those hours going on.
Yeah.
Pero siempre algo que Jinx nos decía a nosotros, don't worry about it. Te hicieron mal. Don't worry about it. It's in God's hands. And that's exactly what I'm going to say now. Don't worry about it. To all the team members, because they were outraged.
Yeah.
And some of my DJs are not professional and wear a 9-to-5 hat. They're from the streets.
Well, I'm happy they have you as a leader. I'm happy they have you as a guide. Yeah.
I'm one of them, yes.
So, you know, for you, your whole team that's out there, keeping their heads leveled and keeping the industry open for a lot of people, you know, and being involved with us here at Latino Mix and, you know, opening up these conferences and being there to share your mind. I appreciate that. And Jinx Paul's advice is one that we all got to appreciate. And I got to say, you know, we're definitely going to be missing him. And I can't think of another song going back to Brooklyn. Unfortunately, a fatality. You know, I got to turn it over to what they gave to my man Biggie.
Yeah.
For you guys in the DJs, that's that big of a loss. So let's go with that.
Let me say something else.
Sure. Go ahead.
I'm going to go ahead and cut you off.
No, do it.
I want to say that Jinx Paul's legacy lives on, and it lives on through us and through the DJ community. So rest in peace, my brother. We got you.
There we go, man. Hey, listen, it's a hard time, but as you know, guys, we all got to go ahead and go sometime, but we're always going to be missing each other. And Jinx Paul, they'll be missing you. So with that, I'm leaving it with Puffy and Faith Evans. Let's go.
De regreso con Anthony from the neighborhood.
Sí, señores, aquí estamos regresando al programa. We're back to the show, and we were recognizing here the sacrifices that we do for the love of the game. And, you know, unfortunately, the place we almost go to at one point. But we're recognizing this from a leader who's also followed the advice of those who were his followers, but actually led him to move forward as well. We're talking to Juan Carlos Vargas, SmurfLMP, which I'm going to go into more titles.
Yeah.
And this is all for the genre, man. This is all for the industry. You know, you can't have it die out because, like in my case, my parents would be like, don't get into music. What you doing with that? That's just a hobby. You know, and now, you know, 40-something years old, but I'm getting into this game where, you know, I never thought I could step foot. And you give this hope from anybody you could be 10 years old. Like when I was messing with my dad's boombox and getting hit over the head for damaging tapes. Or, you know, at this age today, trying to recreate and curate an entire music genre.
Right.
And you're doing that right now. You got your podcast.
Yes.
So let's talk about the podcast. You are also representing talent as the CEO of your own talent agency.
Right, my own management company.
Okay, so you got a management company, and you're still with LMP.
Still with LMP.
We got concerts going on. Some of the biggest artists you've seen sitting at the Grammys are there in some of these events that you've been dealing with.
Yeah.
You're attending the conferences. We mentioned the Latino Mix conference.
Right.
So much of this stuff happening right now. Let's start off with whichever one you want.
Sheesh, that's a lot.
Because
it's a lot. I guess when you're passionate of what you do, where you come from, you respect it and you love it. I love music. I love music. I love music. Music is a part of me. It's a part of who I am. It has helped me identify myself more and more and more as we understand it and we keep growing.
Háblame del podcast, because the podcast is it's one genre of music.
Right.
Bachata.
Yes.
¿Cómo se llama? When's it play? How do people find it?
Okay, so this is a Bachateria podcast. It plays. We try to do something once every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks, and it plays. We could throw it usually on a Tuesday or on a Wednesday. That's when usually people getting home from work, they want to see something else and something fun. And what we do is that we talk about the genre, specifically bachata, because that's one of the genres I'm mostly passionate about. And we'll come in, and my co-host Alci and DJ Anthony and my brother Joe Wonder. We just got together. We're like, yo, this is something that is needed because there's not support on the genre like it used to be back in the 2000s. En los 2000, todo lo que escuchaba bachata, había un grupito aquí, el grupo bachata, grupo bachata, and we know who started that revolution, which was Aventura.
Aventura. We're going to get into a little Aventura with that. But actually, you know, I kind of see that with Típico. Típico's kind of taking a little bit of the younger groups that are coming out, remaking some of the titles, you know, but bachata, I take it back to Anthony Santo, 1982.
That's
you know
it?
What I mean? Yeah,
Okay,
boy, pa allá, you know, like I remember this being in DR, like I used to get deported for the summertime. And I remember hearing this thing and I was like, oh my God, I'm in my grandma's house.
So,
tú estás en eso de bachatería, este podcast, tú estás entrevistando bachateros.
Yes.
You're getting to know the genre and helping do what with it?
Helping, again, everything's about education for me, right? I'm helping educate our community because I feel that our generation, not our generation, the generations after ours, one, they're not even speaking Spanish anymore. Two, they hear it, but they don't understand what they're listening to. And that's where I want to go ahead and close the gap. I want them to understand that it's not just music. It's not just that what you hear right there is a guitar. That what you hear somebody singing is a malgue. That what you listening to and what we grew up with and you hear is singing and having a beer or having a drink with it, this is what it's called.
That's what it is, yeah.
This is bachata, and this is where it came from.
Well, let's take it back to the 2000s, because to me, it sounds like bachata is like an obsession for you. Una pura obsesión para este hombre, la bachata.
Yeah.
I want to take it back to the 2000s, because Aventura had something that came out, which leads me into you doing the artist management.
Right.
Because the girl in this song is somebody you're managing today.
Right.
So let's take a quick break. Let's go with this song, Aventura, Obsesión. Escúchala.
De regreso con Anthony from the neighborhood.
Así mismo, señores, Aventura, Obsesión. That's Aventura. If you guys haven't heard that song, I don't know where you've been, because that thing was playing every party, right?
Still does.
Still does, man. You know, as a matter of fact, that song is probably a bigger hit than most songs that I've heard of that were big hits. Like, I'm talking like, you know, Elvis Crespo, Suavemente, right? Like, it was like, Besame, you heard, but Aventura's Obsesión is like the love song.
It is.
And maybe Mocho y Alexandra. Maybe that was another song, right?
Yeah, Mocho y Alexandra were they were first, and then Aventura existed already, but Mocho y Alexandra already ya estaban sonando y se estaban pegando because it was the first duo, and the way they were singing Ojen Blanco was.
I think the duos are the ones that do it.
Really?
You know what I'm saying? Because porque hay that interaction, right?
Right.
Between a man's voice, a woman's voice, the passion between each other.
Yeah.
But let's go into this now. Your passion and your obsession with the music, right? Going with the song title. You're now managing artists, and the girl who sung there, Judy Santos. Yeah, you're her manager, as well as a couple other DJs, Gabby Fusion, DJ Santana. Right. So, Judy Santos, talk to me about like how did you get into management?
Well, it was funny. I had no idea I wanted to be a manager. I was a manager at the banking side, but never in the artist side. It's funny because before she was a solo artist, she was a duo group called Girls Talk. And I was just trying to help them with the music through LMP, helping them out, promoting them, making sure they were good. Jinx was actually their DJ when they used to perform in Canada and away. And they saw the work that I was doing, and I was pushing because I was representing them. Like, they're your artists, no, but here you go. You're doing a great job. Keep going. And I have to say, I was introduced to Girls Talk through another good friend of ours that passed away about a year ago, which was Mental. Shout out to you, brother. Hope you're resting in peace as well. And I hope I'm making you proud with everything we're doing. And we'll lead into that in a little bit. So Mental was Toby Love's manager and was Girls Talk's manager as well. And Toby and Judy were together in Aventura. Ellos eran los coristas de ellos.
Wow.
And it came, it's whole a chain.
Yeah.
And then through Los Reyes del Mambo, I was able to meet Mental and then brought him over to LMP, and everything just connects.
Insane.
That's why I say that relationships is everything.
And you started your management company, which is called Recognize the Talent. This has been a 12-year venture now.
Yes.
And let me ask you a question, though, because this is probably the question on everybody's mind. Yeah. How do you not get fired from your full-time job while wearing the hats of Mr. Smurf over here and CEO of Recognize the Talent? Well, how are you doing this?
Well, there is no conflict of interest. I am not representing. I'm not with a mortgage company. I'm not selling checking and savings accounts. So it's actually not a conflict of interest. And I actually read the handbook of HR.
Well, tell my people, how do they make the time? Because we got people who can't get 10 push-ups or jumping jacks in a day to get themselves in shape. or eat healthy, and you're over here running 3 different worlds.
So it's a challenge. It's a day-to-day challenge. It's a big challenge for me as well. So many things, and I have to write down things. Time management is key as well, and getting back to people. Always follow up. I think that's what saves me, because if they call me in the morning, can I give you a call later on? I'll follow up and make sure I follow up. And at least give them that follow-up in that respect of when you contact me, unfortunately, I'm not available right now, but I will contact you later on if that's okay.
Well, there you go, folks.
So,
coge lesiones. Take lessons from this guy right here, doing a lot of things. And I got a little question here. I got a little box. We're going to play this little game here.
Okay.
And it's an honest question just to see like a little further deep into you. I don't know what the question is going to be like, but this is a sponsored segment, so I'm just going to go ahead and drop this right quick so I can go ahead and announce my sponsor who brings this show together for this month. It is Mortgage Depot, Johnny Quinn, NMLS number 133907. Give him a call if you're looking to refinance, purchase your first home, get a home equity line of credit. Any questions you have related to mortgage, give him a call at 718-496-5216. Señores, si tienen preguntas, están buscando casa, quieren saber préstamos, tasa de interés, refinanciar su casa, lo que sea con préstamos, le puede llamar a Johnny Quinn. Habla español en Mortgage Depot 718-496-5216. De nuevo, 718-496-5216. And we're going to jump to my question real quick.
So I'm actually going to throw you. See, that would have been a conflict of interest if I was representing your sponsor.
Absolutely. Now you read the handbook. All right. So I don't know if this is just a random question, man.
Yeah.
And I guess this is a way to get to know you a little bit better.
Okay.
And I'll let you look at it real quick. But the question is, what's under your bed right now?
Right now?
He's like dirty socks.
No, not even. It's the plug that connects my bed because it moves up. That's the only thing that's under my bed.
What kind of bed do you have?
It's one of the moves. It's not the bed itself, it's the colchón, but it's the frame. Because I suffer from back problems.
Tú tienes you got the bed from the commercial, the one that
not the sleep number. That's too expensive, bro.
No, the one that goes up with the old folks that kind of goes up. They watch TV in their bed.
Yeah, like that.
Oh,
yeah, like
man,
that.
give me a pound. I love them beds. I always wanted to get one. Where'd you get it from? TV?
No, we got it for Raymond and Flanagan. No promo for them. Yeah, no.
But terrific bed, man. That's awesome. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
And let me just kind of close this with some of the things that I learned. You tell me if we're on the same page. You talked on discipline.
Yeah.
Knowing the lifestyle you can lead, not stretching your limits.
Right.
You talked about discipline in terms of time, not just money, but the conversation of money being an important factor of your life.
Right.
Recognizing where it is, where it's going.
Yeah.
You also talked about relationships.
Yeah.
Networking.
The
value in networking, connecting with people and trying to find ways to put people together.
Yep.
And lastly, you talked about knowledge.
Yeah.
Knowing how things work.
Right.
You mentioned that. And you gave a lot of recognition to a lot of people. Did I miss anything here that I could give the people and let those who tuned in late feel bad?
No, I think we did miss one thing, but again, just if you're passionate about something, you love it, keep moving forward. No te rinda, never give up. Don't let nobody tell you that you can't do something unless you really, it's almost impossible. But even so, try it. The only way you're gonna know if it works or not is if you try it. The only way you're gonna build a relationship and or grow a business is if you try it. If you failed, it's okay. You know you did your part. You did your best, and now you move on and you move to another venture. And the person who you least expect is gonna be your biggest supporter, and will support you through the vision. But to be able to get that person, you need a network and build relationships. If you don't do that, who's gonna know who you are or what you do? So keep that there.
I love it. Listen, LMP right here has got the hat on the desk, señores, para que te lo vean. Yeah. Are you guys selling these things?
Actually, no. So what we're doing now is we're incentivizing our team members to get the gear and everything else. And the way we do it is from every sponsor we get or any job that we do, they get gear.
Perfect. Well, listen, a los fanáticos que están queriendo seguir LMP, what are you guys working on right now? What's happening for the rest of the year? Or what happens every year so they don't miss it?
Yeah. So we're working on a couple things. So we've been blessed that we have big partnerships now with record labels, and we're supporting and working, helping develop and get the music out there from a lot of the artists that everybody knows. We're also doing our yearly barbecue is back. So we're going to be doing our yearly barbecue, or we will be in the Dominican Day Parade. Once again, last year we were there as well. Building networks and relationships. That's through the LP side. Our studio is there. Our podcast is there as well. And we're growing that. As you saw, I do my own podcast there to be able to lead by example and tell everybody this is what we do. This is the house.
Yeah.
Same like this. This is a beautiful studio. So congratulations.
Well,
to
thank you very much. Big round of applause to the Latino Mix Studio.
For real.
No, listen, not for nothing.
Me faltó algo.
Una más.
Me faltó
Dale,
algo.
dale.
Yes. So I know I've been speaking a lot about community and doing something to give back to the community and really educating everybody on what we do. Bachateria was created by, the idea was created by Mental and myself, passed away. Then he was mentioning that same idea to who's my co-founder now, which is Frikiao. If you guys don't know Frikiao Megadio, shout outs to you. We founded this to actually give the stage and give this education to everybody and help everybody understand that New York still has a lot of talent in bachata, and they're being heard worldwide. Why aren't they being heard here and supported here? So we came up with a game plan to be able to get that done. We did SOB, the first showcase with
Emerging Artists,
which is Bachateria.
Yes.
That's how I came up with that. Then we took it to La Boom here in Queens.
Valerio was in the show.
Valerio was in the show,
Yeah.
yes.
We had him to celebrate my first year.
There you go. You see?
Yeah.
So these are the people who are actually working, putting in the work and giving the support. So in this whole cast, we have the whole Bachateria thing. We have Valerio, we have J5 and Paola, we have Judy Santos, we had Carol Zay, and we just added somebody else in the lineup which is Liza and Willie.
Wow. But aguántate because I got to wrap up the show right now. I do want to wrap it up with something here. I want to see you definitely do a lot of things. Yo quiero una invitación. I'm going to tell you right now, I want to be in there.
Yeah.
But I'm going to wrap it up with the artist you're representing, right? Porque yo te quiero ver hacer mucha cosa. And you know what? At the end of the day, that's the name of her song. So it's Judy Santos' song with Yo Te Quiero. Let's wrap up the show, guys. And I'll be seeing you back in the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you.